Welcome to Body by Design. I'm your host, Blue Driver, a women's strength training and metabolism coach. I went from years suffering hormone imbalances, looking soft and bloated, to symptom-free and building muscle for a toned athletic physique. Since then, I've made it my mission to empower women to take control of their own health, hormones and body composition. So grab a cup of coffee and let's build your body by design. Welcome to another week of the podcast, people. And today I have one of my clients, Jennifer, and she is on to talk a little bit about her progress. She's not all the way through her process. So I'm really excited about this podcast because it's nice to speak to people who are part the way through the progress, not just the successes and all the, oh yeah, I'm here and it's wonderful, but someone who's partway through that can actually talk about they're still seeing things, what's still happening for them, the way they view the future. So I think this one can be really beneficial for those who have got a slightly longer process in healing or changing body composition, because everyone's journey can be different. And some can be, those really quick transformations, and some can be a little bit longer. So when you're in the midst of it, sometimes it's like, oh, so it's really good to hear from someone that's in the middle of a longer, Jennifer, your results so far have actually been amazing, but your gut health was quite significant and you've got a little bit further to go with that because of where you started. So I'm really excited to talk to you today, and thanks for joining.
It's lovely to be here, Lou. Lovely to be here.
So I'd love for you to start. Just tell us a little bit about you, where you came from and where you were at to want to get started with me.
Okay, so I am an older woman, which is pretty obvious, not ancient, just older. I have had through my life lots and lots of ups and downs with my weight. I kind of got it almost sorted in COVID, and then COVID happened. And after COVID, I was fine during COVID. It was at the end of COVID. And the other thing that kind of plays on my mind and my health and my body image is actually being an older woman, because there are very few visible, really positive, healthy role models who are the right weight.
Yeah.
At 65 plus.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find. You'll get your extremes and you'll get the people on Insta and all that are, but there are very few people you see in the media, the normal world. And so normal for someone my age is actually round and dumpy and not able to walk very far. And I've always been determined not to be that person. So I've got a very long history with being fit. I love being active and fit. I've been a triathlete, started triathlons when I was 50, not when I was young. I never had time when I was young because I had kids and a career, and I was the CEO of health services. And part of that being at an executive level is part of the reason that my gut is no good.
Yeah,
we think. So very, very, very high levels of stress, 24/7 work, 8,000 employees, hundreds of millions of dollars in hospitals where things
and the demand, the ability, well, I've been in a health service as well, and the demand on the ability to even do normal functions, normal needs for our body, which is eat regularly. How often would you go through a day where you're literally back-to-back meetings and don't get to eat? And it's not healthy, but it's expected of us.
Yeah, it's absolutely 18-hour days are expected of you. I always say they own your blood in those roles. They just own your blood, and you kind of know that. So you just do it because of that. Excuse me, I've got a tickle in my throat. Anyway, so that high stress, the not eating very well. And also I think I got a bit of a bug at one point and never really dealt with it properly. And I think some of that all kind of interspersed. Anyway, so my gut decided not to work well, probably about maybe 10 years ago. And I have had the full-blown everything from, chronic diarrhea, fecal incontinence, terrible things, really, bloating, pain, you name it, I've had it. Had to get, all the scopes in and out, nothing there. the gastroenterologist said to me, "Oh, you've just got IBS, and when things get bad, just take some Imodium." And I thought, well, having worked in a theatre, I know that's actually not the best thing for your gut, because when you look inside, it actually doesn't look very healthy. So that's kind of where I came from. I was working with a sports nutritionist at that stage because I was learning how to manage my energy during a triathlon. I'm someone who likes to understand lots of things. So I wanted to understand it. She was really good, but I just kind of didn't really manage my IBS. And it took a few more years before I really realised that, yes, I did have really full-blown IBS and I needed to worry about what I was eating. I was still pretty fit, and I went through big periods of not being fit. But then when I left my full-time role and took on consultancy, I decided that I wanted to manage my weight. So I lost a lot of weight, became really fit, did half marathon running, all that kind of stuff, really good. And then, I did other things, but then COVID hit. So there's a few years between that and then COVID, and I've kept healthy then. But at the end, because we were in Victoria, my son was in Queensland, so it's 3 days travel to actually get to see them. And it just kind of all spiraled out of control, along with my mental health, which was really poor. And I'm not alone. No, everyone was like that. It's not that it was different. It's just that I never seemed to really kind of get back on top of it then. Yeah, so I discovered the Monash FODMAP people by then and was really trying hard to follow a FODMAP diet, but it didn't seem to matter what I did. Occasionally, not occasionally, 2 or 3 times a week, something would just, I'd try it, unless I ate just rice and meat, it was kind of awful. It has been really awful, I have to say. And there's not many people you can sit and talk to about your fecal incontinence, really. You can talk about, they talk about urinary incontinence all the time in older women, but no one ever talks about that and how terrible that is. And what it does to you is it stops you doing things. So, you don't go out, you don't go for a run. You've always got to know where the toilet is. It's just, as a woman, it's pretty bloody awful, I have to say. Yeah. Anyway, I managed it all that time. We moved house to here in New South Wales, and I just kind of looked at myself one day and thought, I know exactly what to do. I've even written a woman fitness book. I know what to do. It's just that I'm not doing it. And I also felt that I needed some more expert advice about my food because I'd been managing it really myself for 10 years. And, that's okay, but I wasn't managing it properly. I knew that deep inside myself. But, to kind of go and get real help was, I don't know why it was so hard. It just was. So all of a sudden I decided that was it. Sick of myself. I have 2 sisters. My younger sister has chronic disease and can hardly move. And I looked around at all the other people my age and I thought, I am not going to be like that. I want to be the granny at 80 who's running in, the run for the kids or whatever. I want to be a healthy, fit woman. I don't want to be like this anymore. I've had enough and I need to fix my gut. And so I started the journey, and I knew that if I fixed my gut and managed my weight, that my mental health would improve. And when you're kind of that far down, it's really hard. It's so hard to eat well. And when everything gives you the runs, you think, bugger it, I'll just have something else. I'll make myself feel better by drinking and eating. So part of that pattern was drinking a lot of alcohol. Not really thinking I'm going to drink a lot of alcohol, but it's just that in that world, to have a bottle of wine every night is normal. It's normal. It's normalised for people of my age that you have a bottle of wine every night, you have it with your dinner, have it with this, have it with that. So I was drinking a lot.
But it's also normalised that we fall apart in our 60s and our 70s, that we're dependent on people, that we're not still strong and independent living. And unfortunately, that too has become normalised.
It's normalised, and it's really not the right way to be. So
We
yeah,
have to, we
that's what led
actually
me
have
to
to look at those habits that are normalized and what the normalized health of people are and do the opposite, because whatever they're doing is not working for them.
No, it isn't. And part of it, I think, particularly for me, has been not facing how you felt. You know, I've done a lot of work with psychologists because I've had big jobs, you know, 'cause
Yeah.
they can really muck up your head. Those jobs muck up your head and your body. But, you know, I just thought, and I was talking to Tracy and I said, I know what to do. I just need someone to poke me in the back and say, get on, do it, do it, do it.
Having someone in your corner, knowing that, you know, well, one, when you know you've got to check in every week, you're like, oh, I better get it done. But just having someone there that can help you, because sometimes it's not easy and sometimes
No.
it's easier than others, but having someone there that gets it, that you can talk openly with, like you talk about, how do you talk about fecal incontinence as a woman of your age? Well, you know, I talk about poo all day.
Yes, you do. That's right.
That's normalized for me. And none of this is about shame. And none of it's about shaming you for when it's not perfect either. We can look at what's happened. We can pull apart where we can do better. And it's always about improving. And it's not about perfectionism. It's about consistency.
Yeah, I just really needed someone who knew a little bit more than I did, a lot more than I did about food and how to put it all together. And I just thought, just get some help for God's sake.
Yeah.
You know, you've been battling this for so long and it's not, you know, there's that old saying, if you keep on doing what you did, you'll always get what you got. And that's really where I was. Like I knew how to lose weight. That's easy. I knew how to get fit, but how to put it all together with my gut. That was the puzzle. That was hard.
And sometimes it's a bit like you've got that vicious circle going on, but you're not quite sure which thread needs to be pulled first to make it all come undone in the right order. Been with me now for about 3.5 months. So given that you have suffered with these IBS issues for 10 years, so I'm just astounded at how far you've come with your gut in that time. So obviously you wanted to lose some weight, which we'll talk about it as well. But I'd love to talk a little bit more about how you feel with your gut now and what's been the best thing for you.
Really, with my gut, the best thing has been giving up drinking. So I've had 4 alcoholic drinks in that 12.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And all of them have been planned and all of them have been for what I felt was a good reason.
Because again, it's not about
shouldn't.
restriction.
No, that's exactly right. So I have to live with this for the rest of my life. I have to live healthily for the rest of my life. And so I need to be able to manage that in my life. And so it has been for celebrations. Really, celebrations is when I've had a drink, but it's been a drink, not.
And I mean, that in itself has been great because it would always be sit down and have a few. But what I've loved about you through this is your reflection and the habits that, you know, you have with you and your husband, but then looking for alternatives. You know, I'd like to sit down and have something bubbly in my hand. What can we do? And we've spoken about ginger ale and looking at mocktails and just looking for alternate things. But still being able to go enjoy a wine every now and then, like you say, for a special occasion, because it's okay to have one once in a while. It's when we're drinking
every day
in excess or regularly that becomes problematic, not just for weight loss, sure, but
for your gut and for your mental health.
That's right.
It really affects my mental health.
Not just your gut, though. Not just your gut, your hormones, everything. It's a toxin, and it takes a lot for your body to process it. But the lining of your gut, obviously, everything that goes into our gut. For those listening, obviously Jennifer knows this, but everything that are going, that's the first place everything goes. And if our gut is off, no matter how it got there, but if our gut is off and inflamed, we actually don't absorb as much nutrients. So now, even when you tidy you're a bit behind the 8 ball, because even when you tidy your diet up, you're still not absorbing all the nutrients from the food that's going in there. So it takes time of putting high nutrition in and really prioritizing that all the time so you can try and get as much out of it and calm your gut down by taking away all the things that irritate. You mentioned before that it was like you just didn't, unless you just ate rice and meat, you didn't know what was setting you off. We've noticed now that we can actually, your gut's calmed enough for us now that we can actually pinpoint things and go, hang on a minute, that's what it was.
Yep, and I can identify an individual thing.
Yeah.
So although I never eat sweets, I was in Melbourne for 5 days. It was my sister's birthday. And I don't know why I did it, but I had a macaron.
Yeah.
I thought, I'll have a macaron. They're little tiny things. I know they're made with egg white. It wasn't. It had wheat flour in it. And I knew the next day. Knew exactly what it was. It would have been an inch round, 1 inch round, and I just knew. But the good thing is that just happened. It happened in the morning and then it was gone.
And you said you used to suffer for days.
It was days. It would be weeks. You know, it might be weeks, and I might have to have 2 or 3 days where I'm taking Imodium.
Yeah.
So, but it just, and I thought, there you go. Now, you know, it's so funny. It's like a little kid, you know. You just want to just test the boundaries. It's really funny. And I know I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I know I'm doing it, and I know when I've done it. And now I know that when I want something sweet, there's a reason I want something sweet. What is it that's making you want something sweet? Are you tired?
Yes.
Have you eaten enough?
Yes.
Do you need a drink of water?
Yeah.
You know, but and I've never been a sweet person. Like we always used to have, see, another thing, I really can't eat lactose, but we used to have cheese and crackers all the time with our wine.
Yeah.
So was it the wine? Was it the cheese? They were wheat-free crackers, but you know, none of that happens in this house now. Yeah. I bought myself a sparkly maker.
You will eventually get to a stage. There's always going to be one that's touchy for people, especially with genetically modified wheat that's heavily sprayed in pesticides. And look, wheat just doesn't have any nutrition in it.
No.
We would love to get you back to dairy. Now is not the time. You've gone from days and weeks of being irritated by something that you get over it quite quickly. It's a moment in time and then you move on. That's an indication that your gut is settling down and it's actually starting to build resilience. And at some point where things aren't setting you off as bad and there's a lot more indicators that that gut has healed a lot more, we can do things to very slowly introduce lactose back to you.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to get the nutrition from that. But just that shift in 3.5.
Oh, it's massive for me.
After 10 years of suffering in
for me, that's massive.
Months.
Yeah.
So we have narrowed down the foods that you eat. So it is a little bit for you,
restrictive.
which is
not a bit sick of fillet steak. Yeah, fillet steak. Went to Melbourne, had steak every day. Every day.
But you are well.
It's fine.
Your gut is great.
Yeah.
And the big picture is, and this is where I really love talking to you today, is you can say that, yeah, I'm a bit sick of fillet steak. Well, there's worse things to be sick of, I suppose, than a fillet steak. But, and it gets difficult sometimes, but you've also got that big picture in view. It's okay. Yes. I know I need to do this now because you've seen progress and what it can do. Yeah. Helps you through those tough moments.
I know where I'm going. I know exactly what I want to be able to do next year.
Yeah.
So I know it's going to take me another 6 or 7 months. I know that. My weight will be easy. Like I say that. It's not easy to lose weight. It's never easy. But, you know, I've got, 7 kilos to go till I'm at the top of my healthy weight range.
Yep.
The littlest I've been before COVID was 56, 57. I can get much lower than that. I don't really need to, but I can. And that's not the hard part of this journey. The hard part of this journey is getting the insides fixed and building a program that I can follow for the rest of my life, really, that I can say, this is off track. You need to do this, you need to do that. So I'm hoping that this time next year I can go out for dinner and have different things to eat and not have to worry.
For context for the listeners, when Jennifer talks about her weight, Jennifer's a wee little lady.
I'm tiny.
You're only 150?
Yeah, about 150.
Yeah, about 150 centimetres. So she's a little lady. So when we talk about, 50 57, 58 kilos. That's relevant for her height as well, because I know some people like to try and put some context around that. So when you can, let's talk a little more about your weight then, because you've got about another 7 kilos to get to your goal. To date, now, Jennifer started 3.5 months ago, and initially we put your food up. You came in eating you were eating like 15, 16, 1700 calories, very inconsistent with when you ate. We brought you up to, I think we started you at about 1800.
18 or 19, yeah.
And then we got close to 19, bumped it up again, got close to 19. And you actually started losing measurements and weight.
Yep.
Increasing calories, you started losing. We have just in the last couple of weeks done a reduction because there's been metabolic adaptation for you. So we've done a slight reduction. We're 8 weeks into what we would refer, because at one point the 1800 became a deficit for you. So we're about 8 weeks in. We normally do around 12 to 16 weeks, depending on how someone fares in that. So you've lost 5.5 kilos in that time already. That's amazing. But you've gained 3 kilos of muscle mass.
Yep.
Strength training for you. And yes, Jennifer gets in the gym and kills it in the gym. She's not afraid to go and give it a go. You've even been to Melbourne and tried different gyms.
And Brisbane, tried different gyms in Brisbane too.
That's it. So she travels a little bit for work and consulting. So having regular travel means that to keep consistency in your training, going and getting a casual pass at a gym is the best thing, is the best option to do. Obviously, you're holidaying, you'll take a break, but when you're traveling regularly for work, and that's exactly what you've done. Strength training has been your strongest point.
Yeah, not hard for me to do training.
Yeah.
Tell me what to do and I'll do it.
And that's exactly what has happened. And so you might have lost 5.5 kilos off the scale, but you've also, in addition, gained 3 kilos of skeletal muscle mass. All that strength, all that stuff that's going to help you with independence as you go.
You can actually see, I can feel it when I walk. And I know that. You can see it. When I walk differently. I stand differently. It feels different.
Yeah.
It just feels different. You feel like a healthy person.
I've got goosebumps when you say that. I love that.
It feels so different. You move. I watch when people walk. I used to do cardiac rehab, so we got really good at looking at people. When they come through the door, I used to say, I can tell what hospital you've had your cardiac bypass at by how you walk through the door. So I'm really good at looking. So I know when you watch people when they walk, you can tell if they work out. You can actually tell if they do training. But I feel different when I walk, when I move.
Is that a good feel? You say
it's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling. I feel like me. I feel like I've kind of got back to me. That's how it feels.
And this is someone that in your first check-in mentioned your mental health was not good.
Yeah, my mental health was not good. And I think a lot of that was my gut. A lot of that was being unable to control it and know what to do to control it, but also being so fat. I mean, let's face it, I was just fat. I was fat and I couldn't move properly. I love my garden and I was struggling to get up and down in my garden, which was kind of like the final straw. And now I can squat all day. I'm leaning there, pulling over, up and down. It's such a different life.
I love that.
Such a different way of living. It's normal. It's like, I always used to say to my clients, the problem is when you can't get up off the toilet, you have to go to the nursing home. I am never going to be that person.
Yeah. And it's why I do what I do now. There is no way known I am going to be dependent on people into my old age. I just don't want to, having worked in health services myself, you see, I remember I used to, at one point I worked in emergency and you would see the elderly couples come through that they're on their big journey around Australia in the caravan, and one of them, unstable on their feet, not great balance, not great strength, has tripped and they've done a hip or they've broke, and their journey literally ends. So they worked hard all their damn life to save up to do this. And then their health fails them because they never invested in that.
Spending that money on looking after themselves instead of saving it up. They should have looked after themselves.
Yeah.
But such a hard message to get to people. But I just know. And I've lost that apple look. I have 3 pairs of trousers in my drawer from before I went away last week that I never used to fit in. And so I wore a pair of them yesterday. My husband, they look nice. I said, yeah, they've been in my drawer for 3 years.
And now you can wear
And
them.
now I can wear them, which is lovely.
I'm actually going to do a post on Jennifer's results, and there'll be before and after pictures. And you very much had that barrel shape.
I look like a great big fat apple.
Yeah. So you've lost 7.7% body fat. This is from last week's check-in. You've lost a little bit more this week, and we haven't done check-in yet.
Yeah.
But 7.7% body fat.
That's a lot. And you can see it. Like you can see it. As soon as I look at myself, I've got my shoulders back. I'd lost my shoulders. I just looked a bit like I don't know, but I've lost my shoulders. They're back. Haven't quite got this back yet, dear, my little clavicle. It's coming. 60 kilos, the clavicle will come back.
So where are we at now? You're at 65.5.
65.5, yeah. So it'll come back. But the first bit is the hardest. I always think the first bit is the hardest because it takes a little while to feel good. That for me, my mental health just took a little bit longer to get better, and that's really about my gut and all that kind of stuff. But
the gut, it's not just about obviously the physical impacts that it had on you, the lifestyle impacts that had on you, all affects your mental health. But again, when we talk about the gut, if your gut is that inflamed, you stop absorbing all the nutrients. And when you're not getting the nutrients actually plays a key role in your mental health as well.
Yep. It does.
So, that's a big thing. So there's so many things going on there. And as all this kind of comes back together, everything's improving. But just watching your check-ins going from, I'm really not good this week, my mental health is not great, to, I feel good this week. Your sleep. I remember your first check-in, your sleep was, I just don't sleep through the night. It was almost like, that's what it is, and I doubt that'll ever change. And now it's like, sleep's pretty good. I just need to make sure I go to bed early.
Yep. If I go to bed early, I'm okay. Yep. If I don't go to bed early, I'm tired.
Yeah, because you haven't had enough, but that quality of sleep, you don't get that waking up through the night either now.
No, rarely do I wake up. Although I slept in the same room as my sister-in-law, my goodness. She snores. I've sent her off for sleep therapy.
Okay, that's not including snoring, because I am regularly woken up with snoring. But those
I sleep well. Yeah, but I sleep. I don't nap. And those, I actually sleep. And it's had massive spin-off effects for my husband too, because he's not drinking either. I mean, he's always been very fit and he does his big walks and all that kind of stuff. But now it's kind of normal to not, have I say to him, you can have a beer if you want. No, it's fine. I don't need one. But sometimes I will go and have a gin and tonic. You can have one. You don't have to be abstaining like I am, because he's very thin. So the thing for him, so that's the hard too, because he's so thin. I'm trying to get him fat.
Just fill him up with more of the nutritious food.
He has lovely custard now. He loves it that I have custard, because he can have custard too.
Yeah.
I give him custard. Yeah, lovely. Have some more custard.
See, who would think that someone with gut issues wants to lose weight is eating custard?
I know. I love my custard. I miss it.
And here you go. You're eating custard. It's not a restrictive way of life.
The thing is, for me, because it's such a narrow range, and that's to be expected, you have to really think about it. So the best thing, Lou, has been learning to eat organic dates, because I never ate dates, because when I was a little girl, we used to have these dried dates and I hated them.
The dried ones are terrible. Nice.
When you suggested go and get some dates, I thought, well, I'm going to try them. So I bought some organic medjool dates. And at first I could only take one. Remember I said I had one, but I shouldn't do that. So I've kind of gradually introduced them. And now, so when I went the other day, I didn't have enough carbs, so I took dates with me, and I had 2 dates.
Yeah.
And I had it with a cup of tea, and it's like having a chocolate biscuit to me. It's just so nice. It was so nice. You'll laugh. I mixed 200 grams of pineapple with a packet of the wild caught salmon and had 2 dates for my lunch. Thought nobody would ever think to mix those things together. It was really nice.
People think I'm odd when I mix my protein and my fruit, but I actually really
It's
love fruit,
nice.
particularly during the day. I feel like I need to
Yeah.
take a nap if I have too many starches during the day.
Yeah.
So I save them for nighttime. And I have fruit with my proteins at lunch.
It's nice.
It's
It was lovely. The
beautiful.
pineapple was beautiful because it was a fresh pineapple that I'd bought in Queensland. It was really nice. But yes, but the dates have been. So I was traveling yesterday, and of course it was the last day, and I'd run out of lots of things, and I thought, what am I going to do? So I had some custard for breakfast. I had one piece of my sourdough. I had one piece of lactose-free cheese. I kind of added that up. I didn't eat enough calories yesterday, but that's okay. And then I had for lunch, I had my tuna and I had 2 dates and I had my protein powder in my tea. And when I came home, I had fillet steak and a potato and some beans, and that was fine. But yeah, you've got to plan. I particularly have to really think.
Look, I honestly, I think anyone, yes, I understand that for you because you do have the gut issues and you're a little more limited with what you can take. I think anyone who wants to change their health or their body composition goals, you need to start planning in advance because what you're doing now is not working. And I can guarantee you stand there at lunchtime or at dinner time, you go, oh, what are we going to have? What do I feel like eating in that moment? And you probably have skipped a meal. So then you feel like, overindulging. The key is to plan in advance and eat to the plan. Now, obviously, when you're traveling, now you've been doing that as well. It also educates you on what fits your macros. So like you said, you were traveling and things were a little bit off, but you were able to go, okay, well, I need a bit of protein. So I'll add a bit of cheese and I'll have this and I'll have that. And you added it up and it almost got you there. You're a little bit light in calories, but it was an unusual day with traveling.
And it was a choice. Well, I didn't then go, okay, well, I'll go and buy this or I'll go and buy that. Because believe me, having a gluten-free toasted cheese sandwich is not very good nutrition.
Yeah.
It's shocking. And there's nothing at the airport I can eat. The sushi really is not, I don't know what they put in it. It always gives me the runs. So
there'll be any meats that are cooked, and you look at most of them, they're deep fried meats, but it's all done and it's all polyunsaturated fats that they're using, like canola oil, sunflower oils, and all that sort of stuff. Good. And it will set your gut off.
I just don't have it. I only have it if I'm starving and there really is nothing else, but I try never to be like that now. Yeah. So the dates have been a godsend, really.
I love dates. By the way, Woolworths do date and coconut rolls, like crushed up dates. And
I see them there. I looked at them. I wondered.
Do you like coconut? They're lovely to have cuppa as well.
I tell you what I had the other night when I went out for dinner. They had grilled pineapple with toasted coconut and a dash of yogurt. Oh my God, I'm coming to this place again. Because I can never have dessert.
You could do that at home. You could even rings of pineapple in pineapple juice in a tin in the air fryer or on the barbecue.
Yeah, so
beautiful pineapple.
It was beautiful. It was nice because my sister had lovely dessert and they didn't have lactose-free milk. So I just had one shot of espresso. That's it.
Nice.
It's getting the habit, keeping the habit, thinking it's about thoughtful eating, really.
Yeah. And it wasn't like you said, it wasn't easy in the start. You didn't get it right all the time in the start. But it was just, okay, what can we do better next time when you travel? What was the biggest challenge while you're traveling this time? I mean, I can give you thoughts and ideas in the first time you travel, but you'll always come up against something else. Mm-hmm. But when that happens and you learn from that, it's just another tool in your toolbox for the next time you travel and you know what to do.
You just don't do that again. And I know that if I have 12 French fries, that's about 65 grams. That's fine.
There you go.
I have my steak. When you go out for dinner, there's hardly ever any choice. I'll have my steak. I'll have my 12 French fries. And that's it. Thank you very much. I only get half the steak. It was very hard to send back half the steak at Bistro Guillaume the other day.
Oh, because because you're traveling, you wouldn't have taken it home. I often say to people, take it home and have it for lunch.
Yeah, I did last time, but it was my sister's birthday. It was Sunday, and I thought I'd better not wrap it up in a tissue here. So I thought, you'll be right.
It's one of the things that you go out for dinner and meals are so And when you're trying to reach those body composition goals, it's just not the reality to be able to eat it all. And you are, being a littler lady, your calories are on the lower side because our calories are determined by our total mass. And that doesn't matter whether it's muscle mass, whether it's body fat, it's height, it's everything. And when you are on the lower end, your calories are going to be a little bit lower. Where obviously we've increased your metabolism because you are able to get you up to 18 calories and have you losing weight. But yeah, when you are on the smaller side, that's something to think about, that it does make that a little bit harder. But all the more reason for strength training and getting
make sure you do your training. Yeah, that's been fun. I've enjoyed that. I've done a bit of strength, mostly body weight in my past. And of course, the triathlons, we do very specific strength training just to boost what else you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I've enjoyed it. I enjoy it. And I like going to the gym. And
and like, you're doing a Smith squat, aren't you?
Yeah. No, I'm not.
No, you're doing a barbell squat.
A barbell squat.
But then you talk about your gardening. Oh, yeah, I can squat in the garden all day. So it's transferable to life.
Absolutely, yeah. And I notice I'm really good at the Bulgarian split squats now. I think that really helps in the garden. Because as you get older, you do get a little bit more creaky. Your bones do get a little bit more creaky. So you have to make sure that your muscles can work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Well, you're doing wonderful, and it just goes to show that it's never too late to start. So you are in your 60s and you've started this journey. Yes, okay, you've had health and fitness before, but you were behind the 8 ball to start.
Oh, as well, I'm truly behind.
And you're doing an amazing job, and it's so exciting watching your journey. I was so excited when you told me how much more that you'd lost this week, and you're feeling
while I was away and all.
Way traveling again, people, this is someone who travels all the time. It's doable. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time round, but managing is doable. But Jennifer chooses her food, she plans ahead, and if she's going to be away for more than a couple of days, she chooses to find gyms close by and goes and gets a session in, just like every normal day life. So she makes those choices. She chooses the opposite of what she would have chosen before. It really is a lifestyle change that we're looking at.
And it's hard going to different gyms. Like it is hard. And I get in there and I think, they haven't got this, they haven't got that. So the first time I did that, I was very put off, and I didn't really do a proper session. I was a bit scared. I thought, no, this is not right. Go there tomorrow and you need to find out what you can do. And it doesn't matter if you don't do exactly what Lou's got there. Do something similar.
Yep.
And so this time it was really easy.
And this is the not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. You went once and you went, I didn't really, but you went, even with that uncomfortable feeling of a different place and people might be watching and I don't really know where anything is. You still went. So that was a win. And even though it wasn't a training session that wasn't great, you didn't go, oh, see, it's not great and it doesn't work well. Throw everything out the window and then go and gorge on takeaway. Because that's kind of the attitude that people go, oh, this one thing didn't work, so I won't worry about anything.
Keep going back.
You just went, okay, well, that happened, 1% better tomorrow, so I'll go back and I'll find out what I can do. And I love that about you. I love
the thing that sits in my head is you know what you want. If you don't do it, you're not going to get it. You know what you want. It's easy to stay in bed. It's easy not to do it. But if you don't go, you're not going to get it. It's just, and that just keeps me going. So it was so nice wearing my lovely skinny jeans.
I love that you're fitting all these different clothes.
Yeah, it's nice. I kept my skinny clothes. I used to throw them out, but I've got some beautiful clothes in my wardrobe. And
so we have a jacket. We have an aim.
We have a leather jacket that I can get my arms in now.
You've got your arms in now. Awesome.
Get my arms in, but I can't really do it. I haven't tried this week. I will try this week. Could
you wear it just unzipped, or is it still a bit tight across the?
I want to wear it so that it looks right.
Right.
When I bought it, it looked right. And I wore skinny white jeans with it, and that's where we're going.
Right. And there's an aim for, it's November, your wedding anniversary?
24th of November, my wedding.
24th of November. Jennifer wants to be looking amazing. How many years married?
40.
40-year wedding anniversary. So she's got a little bit of a nudge there to help keep her going as well. She wants to look fabulous in her jacket. And beautiful
do.
designer clothes that you've had from your executive days. Yep. So that's where we're going. And she's
And my high heels.
making the hard choices.
Yep. So you can't wear high heels when you're fat. That's what I've learned. You cannot wear, 'cause I've got some beautiful high heels. I love my high heels, but you can't wear them when you're fat.
Even the strength, you know, to have balance and,
Yep.
be, you know, to be for your leg muscles to carry you through
Yep.
it.
Makes a difference. And
Yep.
so next year, Lou, I haven't told you this, next year I want to start running again. That's what I really want to do next year. I always had a goal of running in a half marathon race. I've only ever run half marathons myself, but I really, really want to do that next year.
You know what? You can. There are so many people that are, look, I used to run. I don't run anymore. And I can actually say it's hard. Running's hard. I find it really
is hard. I love it.
There is a big perception out there that it's all about strength training and you don't need cardio. Well, do you need to do cardio to build muscle and change your body shape and be strong and healthy? Well, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
Cardio is great for your cardiac health, though. And if you want to
It's
run,
just for fun.
you can. The thing is, though, I think people put the strength training second. I do believe that the strength training always needs to be the priority.
That will
And
be
we
my
add
priority.
the running in and the other training in around it. So if you love running and you want to go back to that, we can do that.
Yeah, I think because I love to get in that zone and be out there in the fresh air and move it. I don't have to run fast, moving along. I thought the other day, that's what I really want to do. You know,
3.5 months ago, could you have really thought, oh, I want to go and run again?
No, I wanted to, but I knew I couldn't.
And now all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's in my sight.
I could. I thought about adding a few 8 times 30 seconds on that treadmill. And then I thought, no, because it's going to really muck up your nutrition. So you need to get this all baked done first.
You don't want to add it while you're in a deficit. So let's get you out of the deficit. And then if you want to start adding some 30-second sprints in there once or twice a week, that's like true kind of HIIT training.
Yes.
And as long as you're not overdoing it, we just manage your calories and make sure you'll probably have a few more calories to play with.
Yeah, so it makes me feel good when I run. I love the weights. I'm never going to give that up.
And I think that's the important part, rather than going, you don't need to run and running stressful. It's not that running is stressful. It's the way in which it's done, the lack of calories, the overtraining, the not strength training to have the muscle mass to go with it. You know, it's all that adds to it. But you can run without it being stressful. If that's your goal and you enjoy something like that, then it's okay. And it's probably better for you from the mental health perspective and the life enjoyment perspective.
The only time I ever give myself time is when I'm exercising.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And so when I run, it's kind of, I can listen to music and, you know, look at the birds and check out the neighborhood. And I've always run, really, my whole life. Yeah. And so I thought, I could do that, but I will wait. I just want to do 8 30-second boosts. That's all.
Let's get you out of a deficit. And
yes.
And then let's
go
go back
5 kilos off first.
We can do this. We can do this. Yeah. Look, it's been wonderful having you on and sharing the journey.
Good to chat.
Thank you so much. And if anyone has some good takeaways from this and would like to share, please screenshot and tag me at strengthtraining.nutritionist, and we will chat again next week.